Hello, my name is Travis Miller, and I'm one of the College and Career Advisors from the College and Career Access Center located here in Jackson, Michigan. The goal of this presentation is to inform the students about our summer melt program, what we're going to be doing in that, and how we execute that program. But before I get into summer melt, telling you what it is, what type of students that we're going to be working with, I want to make sure that I go over our two different types of categories, because each of those different categories determines what type of stuff they need to get done, and based off of what they've gotten done, what part of summer melt they'd be participating in. So we break them down into two different tracks essentially. So the more traditional route being students who are planning on going to a regular four-year college, a two-year school, or any other program that does accept financial aid. Kind of a broad umbrella, but that's a traditional route. And then the other route would be for any individual who's planning on joining the workforce, whether that's continuing at the job they currently have, applying for different manufacturing jobs, join the military. So once we have that information on those individuals, we divide them into those two subcategories. And depending on what that category is, there's things that we want each of those individuals to get done to basically make sure that things are in place for them. So for the first one, we call them the 4 seasons. This is for the students who are planning on going to college. We break it down into 4 seasons just to make sure the senior year is as manageable as possible. So at the beginning of October, we really focus on getting college applications done. Once you've gotten the applications done, we then shift the focus to the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA. The FAFSA is the application for both the Pell Grant, the federal loans, as well as work study. Work study and the Pell Grant are need-based awards, and then the federal loans, every single one of you students would qualify for those. It takes about an hour to do on your own, but this is something that you would need to do with your parents. You provide parent tax information, your tax information, and then they make a determination on what federal aid you would be available for. The third one is scholarships. This is actually an interesting one because it's something that you could be doing at all times. Scholarships, there's not a perfect model to be like, here are the scholarships that you should be applying for, because there's scholarships that become available now. There'll be scholarships that will become available next week. There's scholarships whose applications have closed, but scholarships, we typically tell students that you could be working on those at all times. And then the fourth one is making a decision. On our end, making a decision is more than just saying, I'm going to Michigan State. This decision, you would have to then, for Michigan State, for this example, have you done the housing application? Have you signed up for orientation? Have you registered for your classes? Have you paid any deposits necessary? Basically, until all of those things are met, we make this determination that you have not completed your decision. We really look for you to have those all completed. Do I know where I'm going to be living? Am I registered for classes? Can I afford it? They kind of fall under those umbrellas. So until those things are accomplished, there's things you have left to do with that decision. So no matter where you are on the college thing, there's still time to get these things done. Just because we were doing the college applications in October doesn't mean that's something that you can't do currently. Same thing with the FAFSA. And obviously the decision, you still have time to be doing that as well. For those of you that are looking to go right into the workforce, we've broken those down into the 5 frontiers. And again, the breakdown is really just to make it into more manageable bites for you. So the first one is career assessment. This is where if you come to me and you're like, I have no idea what I want to do, but I know I want to work. We would use some career assessment tools that we have to assess your strengths, your weaknesses, things that you enjoy doing, things that you don't like doing. And then it pumps out a list of careers that kind of would fall under the umbrella of those skills and things that you're looking for. We then take that information and start looking into careers, trying to find out what actually does interest you. The resumes, that's one that you guys all should have done at the Career Center, which is super awesome. For individuals who have resumes, our focus with those is really making sure that the resume is being built for what you're planning on using it for. So you guys created those resumes for your class, which is super awesome. But let's say your resume is specifically for cosmetology. Well, if you're not pursuing a job within the cosmetology realm, you don't want your full resume focused on those cosmetology skills because they might not be super applicable. So spending time to update that resume for whatever you are using it for. The third one, it would be interviews. A lot of you that are planning on joining the workforce, if probably never had the opportunity to sit down in a formal interview setting. So when you go into to interview for that job, it might be something completely new to you. So we want to take the time to do mock interviews with you, just so you can get a little bit more familiarity with what that process and what it might look like, what questions might be asked, type of attire that you should be wearing, questions that you should be willing to ask them to better prepare yourself. Basically just giving you an opportunity to go through the interview, get responses on strengths and weaknesses within that interview setting. So that way you can feel a little bit more comfortable when you go on and do those other actual interviews at those businesses. Job shadowing is something to not focus on. That's something that we would have wanted to get done during the year. And then the last one, just like on the college stuff, is job placement. So if you're an individual who tells us, hey, I'm going to the workforce, we want to continue to work with you up until you actually have that job secured that you are looking for. So depending on which route you've taken, we want to continue to work with you no matter what that choice is. So as I mentioned, this is all done over Summer Melt. Summer Melt is a program that we participate in. More or less, there's a number of students here in the county, in the state, in the nation, who are all have either made their decision but haven't paid their deposit, or I'm going to work but don't have a job secured, who never actually go through with those steps. Once you get out of high school, they lose those support systems that's there for them. So we want to make sure that you guys all have the needed support to finish whatever those steps are. Just because you've met a hurdle and you can't figure it out on your own, we want to be there for you. So we continue to work with all of the students here in Jackson County. And it looks a little bit different, but so what does this mean to you? So at each of our schools here in the county, we have them fill out what's called our exit survey. We use the information on this exit survey to determine whether or not you are a Summer Melt student. So if you're an individual who says, I'm going to Michigan State, we've determined that you've registered for your classes, that you're signed up for orientation, you've done your housing application, you don't meet the Summer Melt criteria necessarily. But if you do that survey and you say, I'm joining the workforce, but I don't have a job secured, that instantly tells us that you should be one of our Summer Melt students and that we should be reaching out to you to help you figure out that plan. And we basically want to get you to whatever that finish line is. So if that's the job placement, we want to get you that job. And if it's I'm going to college, we want to just make sure that all of your things are in order for that. So that way, when you do get enrolled in your classes, you don't have anything to worry about. As I mentioned, this is something that we do throughout the county. So there's not we're going to be reaching out to you today or tomorrow. So it might be some time before you hear from your advisor. If you are a student and you're like, I know that I need assistance with this orientation, I just didn't know who I needed to ask, or I have an interview next week and I would really love to set that up, but I don't know if I'm going to hear from you guys before that. I wanted to make sure that you do have our contact information. So if you want to be proactive, we would love to help you. So at the top, I provided the College and Career Access Centers our number. We are there Monday through Thursday from noon until 6 p.m. And then we're there Fridays and Saturdays from noon to 5. So anytime during that time, if you called that number, one of our advisors would be able to assist you. Then we also are at the public schools here, and I've given you a breakdown of who your advisor is depending on what school that you go to. So if you go to Sydney Brown, or if you go to Northwest, Da Vinci, or Concord, your advisor is Sydney Brown. I provided her email address there. For Michigan Center, Jackson High, Spring Park, or Napoleon, your advisor is Brian Green. East Jackson, Columbia Central, or Hanover Horton, your advisor is Mary Stanley. And then if you're a Grass Lake student, Western student, or Vandercook Lake student, my email address is in there, and I'm also providing my cell phone number. If you're a student who does not attend one of those schools, from Lumen Christi, Jackson Christian, any of those other outside schools, you could reach out to any of us and we would love to assist you. I have provided my cell phone number. I feel comfortable you guys having that. So if you have specific questions that need to be answered like today, do not hesitate to reach out to us and we would love to assist you through that. Again, I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of the things that you could be working on now, how we can assist you with those, and then that we can best prepare you for the couple months ahead. Thanks for your time.